So, God, I'm so tired. It's 7:30 in the morning, but I have the special honour of having an interview with Sophie O'Neil.
I'm Sophie O'Neil and I'm September 2019 Playmate.
And I am just tired. I have been working all week. I have been booking models in for jobs, been looking at self-tapes. I have been organising myself for a new film that I'm going to make. So I've been doing auditions and now I'm super tired. And you know what? I was looking forward to the weekend. I'm going to show you exactly how we prepare, how we put together an interview with a guest. So, unfortunately, you're going to have to follow me today. So, should we go or shall we stay here talking? I think we should go. That is so terrible. What am I doing? That mirror needs to be cleaned. That is absolutely terrible. Okay, so one of the things I'm most conscious about when I do an interview or any sort of recording is, how do I look? Am I going to be presented on camera? How am I going to be presented on blah, 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 blah? And you go over a million questions in your head until you get to the conclusion, who gives a fuck apart from you? Because all that really matters is what you say and how you say it. So, with that in mind, I think it's time to leave. I might put a hat on. There we go. I got a hat on. Let's do this. Let's get the f*** out of here, shall we? Let the journey begin! To infinity and beyond!
Infinity and beyond!
My biggest rule is do not hit the beep. That I never hit the beep. There's so many things to stress out about in life, like that's the least thing to stress about. See, this is the problem when you shoot first thing in the morning, is that you are typically starving, and the only way you can quell your thirst is to go to Costa and get yourself a nice hot chocolate. Believe me, if you want a hot chocolate, you want to be getting yourself down to Costa. By the way, I'm not sponsored by Costa. I am just an avid fan. However, if Costa do want to sponsor me, I am absolutely up for that. And my contact details can be found in the About section on our YouTube channel. Here I come to have my Costa coffee. Oh, lo, lo. Costa, Costa, Costa.
Hello, how can I help?
Hi, could I have a large hot chocolate? Thanks a lot. Have a good day. Take care. And the blee 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 blue 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 hi ho hi ho. It's off to Costa we go.
Weird.
All right, let's get back on the road. We are here, and now it's time to meet Kez.
So, stuff I sent to Sophie, I think I did send to you before I sent to her.
You did.
But talking about her modelling journey, how she secured Playboy, and feelings before, during and after the shoot, making the decision to do a shoot like Playboy, experiencing on the Playboy set, best and worst thing about the shoot, the fame following the shoot, like fan mail to agency, I think could be a really good.
Maybe also to follow on from that is the feeling of, wow, I've got fans, and then suddenly the feeling of, wow,
I've got fans.
Yeah.
And I was doing like some research, I was looking on Instagram, and I was like looking at her profile, there is not a trace of Playboy on there.
Yeah, she got rid of it.
And you wouldn't, like from her profile, you wouldn't have expected her to do something like Playboy, which is really interesting. And I don't know if she'd be comfortable talking about that, but it's almost like she rebranded herself completely.
I think she's comfortable, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to ask those questions.
I think it'd be really interesting to know.
Hello, you're right, madam.
With the sandwich.
Don't touch my sandwich.
Do you want it though? In a much more real sense.
Kez is doing a video of the video, which is just really weird. But
It's for Instagram.
it's for Instagram. It's for the reels.
It's for the reels. That's social content.
Oh, you've recording me as well? Oh my god. This is our setup. We've got 4 cameras. We've got 3 microphones. This one's for Kez. This is my one. And this is for the guest. There's our guest, Sophie O'Neil. And there's Kez.
Hiya.
Probably bored of it by now, aren't you?
No, that's so fine. So, sent you sort of talking points, but with Sensational, we don't really work on a Q&A basis. It's on us, just yeah, it's going to be more of a conversation than anything, and we're just kind of going to work through the talking points that we sent you. We might not get through everything, we'll see where the conversation takes us. And we have full autonomy with it. So if there is anything that you say and you want cut out of the final edit, that's so fine, you just let us know.
Don't worry, we'll edit that. We'll edit that stuff.
People are like, oh, improv's like, you can't go wrong. I was like, I can.
Watch and see.
I didn't think it's a big thing. I didn't think it'd be difficult. I didn't really think about that. I didn't really think about how. I mean, I think, yeah, I just didn't think about that.
Sophie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You've been awesome.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Oh no.
So we just recorded nothing.
We spoke for
It
about
was
5 minutes
so good.
of good things.
So, this is now the second time we've done this, third time we've done this.
Oh,
Pretty tired.
it's going in and out of the blur. Yeah, we're tired.
It's very important to plan your interviews before you do them, because your guest is expecting you to plan the questions, but on top of that, it helps you when you're on set that you have a direction that you can follow and a path you can follow. So what Kez does really well is she does call sheets, does the planning of booking the studios, and she will speak to the guests to make sure they feel really comfortable before they start talking or before we press record. I feel like it kind of helps the day move a lot smoother.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, when you're bringing a guest on who doesn't necessarily have the experience of recording in the way that we do and has never really done something like that before, just to make sure that they're, you know, comfortable, like you said, having the ins and outs, having your talking points as well.
Depends on what kind of platform you are, right? So for example, in our call sheets, we will put a list of talking points based on what the guest is affiliated with, depending on who the guest is. If you're a Q&A platform, then by all means share the list of questions with your guest prior, just to make them aware of what's going to be discussed. And if there's anything that they don't want to talk about too, that is also imperative.
That's absolutely key. For me, that's really key. And I think it's a good way to give people trust. If people trust you, then they'll give you more answers. And if you ask them questions on the day that you're expecting different answers to, and they don't quite direct you there because you know this information about them already, I would suggest you don't force the answer out of them. You definitely just navigate your way to get the answer out of them through just reframing the question. You can even maybe give them the answer and then ask that as a question.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
You're really good at doing that as well. If a conversation is not necessarily going in a direction that's key to the conversation, or, you know, we can see that there's a
if you don't feel like you're very good on camera, if you feel like you're pretty nervous at doing interviews, I would say you can script it. But again, and I use the word planning, if the more you plan, the more confident you are with whatever it is you're doing, whether it's interviewing, whether it's doing photography, whether it's doing modelling. The more you plan something, the more you know about something, the more confident you can be when doing it. So
that's so key. Yeah, no, that's such great advice. You may have to improvise, and that in itself is shit scary if you're not, you know, used to doing that. Especially on camera. And just having the knowledge of whatever you're talking about, even if it's just sort of like top line things, can be really invaluable to the conversation, and it helps steer it in a way that you want to get what you want out of the episode itself.
You walk into an interview, you have your answer, you have your research, you can't go wrong. And if you do go wrong, you can edit it. So
there's that part. It's not live.
It's not live.
So you have full autonomy on how this looks like.
Right, so what have we learned from today's experience? Right, so we've learned many things: planning, Now, I may have said the word planning about 20 times so far, but there's nothing wrong with saying the word planning 20 times, because the whole point is you need to plan. We want repetition, 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 repetition. Because the more you do something, the better you get at it. In theory, if something becomes second nature to you, in theory, it's second nature, and it's a lot easier to navigate your way through something if you have something as a second nature skill with anything you do, really. The more you do something, the more experienced you are at, the easier it becomes to do it. Because when I first started off being on camera, I hated it. I didn't like the camera. But over time, I've got used to it. It's still very challenging, but here I am. With anything in life, repetition, planning, and just getting it done is the most important thing. So if you're looking at doing your first ever podcast, you're looking at doing your first ever interview, then I would say do it. Make mistakes, but do it. And learn from your mistakes. Learn from other people's mistakes. Watch other interviewers. Watch other interviews. Watch other YouTube videos. And I can guarantee you, if you give it at least 6 months to a year, it sounds like a long time, but it's not. Trust me, you will find your key, you will find the opportunity, you will find your voice, you will find your style. So get out there and get it done. Thank you, and peace out.